Well, one of our veterans here today is Les. Thanks for your time today, Les.
Not a problem.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and perhaps you could just maybe start by telling us how you got involved at Vietnam.
Well, it goes back to 1967. That's when at national, what do you call it, national service come in,
Right.
and as as a result of that, they were sort of picking an age number between say 20 and 22 something for one of the numbers, and what they had a ballot system, and those that were born in between a certain time, and if their birthday fell on a certain time of the month, it's sort of rigmarole. And rather than saying sort of like say 1st of April in any one year, as long as national service is going, that from the 1st to the 21st, if you were born in that period, you must register. But it was a little bit ad hoc to that, and sort of, but it was. There was like times in a month that if you were born in that period, you must register. And well, mine was the 22nd of August, 1946. I was born, and sort of come up to when it got to 22nd of August. I registered before that, and then got left alone. Just registered and waited, and nothing was happening. I saw they must have, either don't want me or what. And then when I forgot about it, then I got the letter in the post. I was required to report to Keswick Barracks on such and such a date, such and such a time. And it was, and a bit of a shock. So I thought, what am I getting into? Being an Aboriginal, being away from home, because family means a lot, and sort of if I did get in, and it sort of where did that leave me in the pecking order in the family home sort of thing, as opposed to if I'm with all these other guys that sort of just they didn't know we didn't know each other from a bar of soap. But as it was, we flew from Adelaide Airport to Bangalore in Victoria, bussed into Puckapunyal, and there we was allocated, like sort of alphabetically. A to C would have this hut, D to G or something would have the next hut, so alphabetically, so you knew exactly where you were, sort of thing. And if it was so A company, for instance, we had 4 huts, and that virtually took up the whole alphabet, sort of thing. It was in our group, and from there it sort of 20th of I think it was the 20th of April, I think it was, 1967, that I got my call up, and that's what I do. That's what started that Army life. And as I said, didn't know anyone from a bar of soap sort of thing, but it didn't take long to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And some of them that I've met back then, I'm still friends with today, sort of thing. And we meet once a year. Like for instance, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, we'll be down at we've got a place in Adelaide Hills, McLaren Flat, and our families all meet up there. The blokes over here and catching up, and the women over there, and the kids are off, and it's a fun day, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a catch up, and as I said in there, sort of thing, that we lost one of the diggers since then, in the last couple of years, and but the rest are still there. We all know where each other is. We all, and if God permits, sort of prevails, we do meet up intermittently in between. But that's the third Sunday in November. That is the day where we'll meet up in McLaren Flat and do the catch up, drink till we can't drink anymore, sort of thing. And, tell all the yarns, what's happened in the last 12 months, and it's a camaraderie that sort of, it's been there. Well, I'm 73 now, sort of thing. So it's sort of been there from when I was 21, basically, to
50
day.
years.
Yeah,
roughly. Yeah.
And it's more than half my lifetime, I think. Sort of.
Yeah.
But but in the army itself, sort of thing, where we were. I mean, as I said, I was one of 20 selected in corps training to go and do a regimental duty instructors course. And that was, with that came 2 hooks, corporal status, sort of after being a recruit myself previously, not even 6 months, and I've already got rank.
Right.
Basically. So, yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but luckily enough I was a quick learner, and because I used to do like hunting and that sort of with a rifle before I went in the army, I had a feeling, I had some idea of how a rifle works. And sort of, so what they taught me in the army when I was doing weapons training, they just put the icing on the cake for me. This is a bigger rifle, and sort of this is the working parts, and you got to the stage where you can just about strip it down and put it back together again blindfolded.
Right.
But when you put them out, when you take something apart, you put it, lay it out, and when you put it back together again, you reverse it, put it back. So yeah, you think, well, still, but it's something that did work and does work, and sort of, so yeah. So with that, and I stayed at Singleton, New South Wales for about another 2-3 months after that. I was doing good, but then one nice sunny afternoon on a Friday, decided to go into Singleton, have a counter lunch. Weather pretty similar to this, and I was a national service bloke. The 2 of the mates from there, they were regulars. They said, "Where you going, Croppy?" Short for Cabrinary, Croppy nickname. So I'm just going in, ducking into Singleton, have a couple of beers and a steak, for lunch. Oh, if you're going, we'll come with you. So the beer started tasting nice. I said, I said, I'm not going to go back, I'm going to stay here. They said, if you stay, we're staying, like this. And I said, you get yourself into trouble. No, you will be right, If you, whatever you get, we'll take with you. And so we with that, 5 o'clock we decided, better get back to camp now. And standing on the corner of the company headquarters, company sergeant major. Giddy you three. And we're some complete language sort of thing. Where the hell have you been? I just said straight out, I just felt like I said, not using my culture as an excuse, like walkabout, but I just said, no, I felt like a beer and not a camp meal, a pub meal. And I said, so I went and sort of, that's what I done. Had that and sort of, and he said, what about the other 2? I said, they decided to follow on. And he said, well, consider yourself charged, and you two is charged too, absent without leave, sort of thing. So, in front of the company commander, and we was all doing good work with the recruits, training them. We, the other instructors, the higher ups, like from the CSM up, the sergeant and all that. They said, your work's all, the 3 years, all your work is exemplary sort of thing, but you effed up sort of thing, by doing this. So the company commander fronting him, he said, we can't condone, we've got to we can't condone that. What you've done was, and wash it out. And I said, oh well, I suppose to take whatever punishment you think, is there. And with that, I said, oh well, what other places, And he said, oh well, I can have you transferred to Butterworth, Malaya, which was for 18 months. But I wouldn't have, being national service, I'd have had to sign on to complete all that. But I said, I heard there's a battalion down in South Australia. I played a bit dumb, sort of things, because I come from South Australia, only a gear change from Woodside to Tailem Bend. And so I said, I'll go down there, I said, so I went. He said, we'll have your travel warrants all sorted out. So I got on the train at Singleton, got to Sydney to Melbourne, jumped on the Melbourne Express there, got off at Tailem Bend, and sort of virtually went AWOL again. But I just sort of, I'm Tailem Bend, I got family there, sort of thing, so I just thought I'd take a day extra, sort of thing. Got back to Woodside a day later, and I got charged. I took it, I wore it, sort of thing. I thought, and took whatever penalty there was, and then I got transferred, and I finished up being transferred to C Company 9RA, and that's where I've seen out the rest of my tour. And but like it was different commands, like the company commander, champion bloke, major in rank, and then the platoon commanders were all second lieutenants. So, and they all got on together, right? And we got on with our commander, sort of thing. And the funny thing that I found over there that I was, I could sort of in Australia, you go on something, you follow the signposts. Over there, you had a map in one hand, a compass in another, and you're trying to what part of the landscape could you see that like a landmark to sort of go there and then give you a map ready from there to there to there sort of thing. And it was funny that sort of the company commander must have got wind of this, and every 3 days we'd get reset, and every 3 days he'd give out where we were going, and he always said, Les, well here's everything, take them out, take the company out sort of thing. So I'd have to have my platoon, my section done all that leading all the time I was over there. And when I did leave there, my 2IC, he took over the section up for me, and sort of now we catch up, see each other on reunions and Anzac Days in Adelaide, and it's like two groups. One I was in Vietnam, and the other one was when I went through recruit corps training. I met this other group, and that's sort of, it's been like that ever since. And I'd say, well, I didn't, like, I suppose being Aboriginal, could have said, nah, I don't want it, I'll take the Australia, but I took it. And those 2 years, I did get out, but then I had, I suppose about 2 months, 3 months later, so I tried to get back in, but somewhere along the line I developed an ulcer, and that was, I couldn't get back in.
Right.
So, but I'd say, and it's one thing that I'd say national service should have continued.
You think that should have continued?
I think that sort of, because I think there's a lot of adolescents, like 20-year-olds, that it could be a life-changing experience for them.
Right.
And if those that are on the wrong side of the tracks, I think doing wrong, it might be a way to turn them around. But it all went, and that was it. And sort of, and now we've sort of, we've got the honour, I suppose you could say, of going around telling our story, and like this is our 4th community we've visited since Arts SA put it all together, and people hearing our story. I mean, when we was in Adelaide, we had the whole 10 veterans, Aboriginal veterans, that sort of told their story, and that's where the Governor of South Australia, who was, as I said, Vietnamese, and sort of he was there, he couldn't applaud us enough. Not us in general, but the uniform we wore, which was jungle green, and so yeah, with that sort of we've been Adelaide, we've been Adelaide, Port
Whyalla?
Port Augusta.
Oh, Port Augusta, yeah.
Port Augusta. This is the fourth one here, Roxby. Where's the other one go? Port Lincoln.
Port Lincoln.
Port Lincoln. Yeah, that's the four, isn't it? Four, yeah.
Right, so...
Yeah, you were going to say?
No, I was just going to ask, so which artist did you speak to?
Damien Chen.
It was Damien.
Yeah.
And so your or his work is on display in the gallery.
That was the one in the corner.
Yep.
With the non-Aboriginal blokes alongside me, and the kids with the smoke.
Yep. Yep. Fantastic picture.
Yeah, and there's one of me kneeling with the rifle, like sort of in the other foyer.
Okay.
With the right Armalite sort of, like, yeah. I'm sort of kneeling down and sort of just hanging onto it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out too.
Well, that's the two. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic display, and I really appreciate your time this afternoon. It's great to meet you, Les. And
same back at you. Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's like anything. You're not. I think we're enjoying being able to tell it, not for bravado purposes, bragging or whatever sort of thing, but you know, a lot that happened over there that sort of the general public, I'd say even with the story that we're telling, the others that sort of have grievances, will their stories ever come out? So by us talking to it sort of thing, what happened, at least it's given us, might not think it, but we are given, you know, we're getting relieved of a lot of anguish that's built up over the years sort of thing. You know, who'd want to listen to you? Sort of, you know, as far as all we know, you come back with all alcoholics and druggies. Well, no, that wasn't the case. But sort of over there, when we come off operation, yeah, we got smashed, but we went back out the next day and done our job. And so, but that, you know, it was the American that was sort of the druggies, not us. Might have been the odd one or two that sort of tried this UBU stuff they had over there, but not a lot, you know. So it was over there to do the job, but I think we've done it to the best of our ability as you know, we served.
yeah.
And we got to see Green Beret.
Oh, well.
So yeah, that was.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, Les, and thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy your time here in Roxby Downs.
Yeah, it's my third visit actually.
Right.
The other times I was on Aboriginal Health, what they call the Aboriginal Health Council of South Australia, and they had a couple of their meetings up here over the years. So I had the good grace to sort of come up and see it grow a bit.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a lot smaller than what it was, and then it's to come back today and it's this trip, and it's it's sort of grown and it looks quite nice.
It does. Yeah. Well, thanks very much.
Not a problem.